A major weather pattern change is about to reorganize the very atmosphere we live in, and as we step into the first days of 2026, we are witnessing a shift that will bring both historic hardship and unexpected relief to millions of American families. We are standing at a crossroads where the power of nature meets our call to be prepared and vigilant. Before this broadcast is over, you will have a complete roadmap for the next 14 days, including a specific revelation about a mid-month atmospheric reset that will change everything. I will be revealing that exact date and the specific states most at risk at precisely 12 minutes and 40 seconds into this report. This is not just a forecast. It is a call to stewardship over your home and your loved ones. The atmosphere is currently reorganizing in a way that favors larger and more powerful storm systems, opening the door to heavy snow, ice, and renewed severe weather. But before that broader change happens, a potentially historic snow event is about to unfold in the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Right now, as we look at the radar and the satellite imagery, we see a massive engine of moisture being fueled by the Great Lakes. A major snowstorm is targeting western New York and the surrounding regions, where a few lucky or unlucky locations could see between 20 and 50 inches of snow. This is being driven by intense and persistent lake-effect snow bands that are locking into place. In fact, just outside of Syracuse, New York, snowfall totals could exceed 50 inches within the next 40 hours. To put that in perspective, that is nearly 4 feet of snow falling in less than 2 days. This is a life-altering amount of snow. We are talking about snowfall rates of 1¼ inches per hour, every hour, for 40 hours straight. If you are in the path of these bands, you must understand that travel will be impossible. This is a time to hunker down, to ensure your wood stove is ready, and to check on your elderly neighbors. We are called to be our brother's keeper, and a simple phone call to someone living alone in the Syracuse or Watertown area could be the most important thing you do today. While the Northeast prepares for a burial in white, the rest of the country is about to see the weather ramp up in a completely different direction. The jet stream is expected to shift into what we call a meridional flow next week. This means the high-altitude winds will begin to wave like a giant ribbon across the continent, keeping the atmosphere unsettled and volatile. This setup will support the return of winter storms, and even severe weather for millions as we head through much of next week. Currently, we have our jet stream angled out of the northwest across the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and the Northeast. This is ushering in Arctic air at this very hour. We actually had some intense snow squalls roll through Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York last night. These squalls basically brought whiteout visibility in a matter of seconds. If you were on the road, it was a terrifying experience. After all that snow moved out, we are left with this deep Arctic air. It is very cold out there for many of you around the Great Lakes, with wind chills dipping well below zero. At the 5-minute mark of this broadcast, I promised to reveal the details of a historic heat wave, and here it is. While the Northeast is frozen, a high-pressure system is building back over the southern plains. Over the next few days, it will progressively intensify, bringing warmer and drier air to the West Coast and most of the Great Plains. But by Sunday and Monday, this weather pattern is going to change significantly. A high-pressure ridge is going to rapidly intensify across the center of the country. This means record-breaking heat will be on the table by the beginning of next week across parts of the Central Plains, Midwest, and even back through the Mississippi River Valley. Our polar jet stream is going to be lifted very far off to the north, nearly into Canada. By Tuesday of next week, the warmth will reach its peak. We are talking about temperatures in Nebraska and South Dakota that could be 35 degrees above normal. Imagine 60-degree days in the middle of January where there should be snow. In Chicago, we could see temperatures near 50 degrees. This is historically speaking a massive anomaly. While many of you might welcome the break from the cold, we must remember that such rapid changes in temperature are often the precursor to violent weather. When we see this much warmth surging north, it is like fuel being poured onto a fire. Eventually, The cold air will want to return, and the clash between that 60-degree air and the incoming Arctic blast is what will trigger our next major round of storms. One of the biggest storylines over the next 7 days is this temperature roller coaster. Currently, we have very below average temperatures from North Dakota back into the Northeast and even down into Florida. I want to address something that many of you have noticed in the comments. You might be wondering why my hair looks a bit wild today. I can assure you it is not a fashion choice. It is the result of the intense static electricity and the dry Arctic air we are currently experiencing. The weather truly has a way of affecting every part of our lives, even our appearance. But more importantly, the temperature in Florida has dropped to 35 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. This is something we hardly ever see in the Sunshine State. It is cold enough that we have to be concerned about our citrus crops and our tropical plants. We pray for the farmers who are out there in the dark trying to protect the food that ends up on our tables. As we look toward Monday and Tuesday, the heat will build across the Gulf Coast and into the southeast. But along the West Coast, a different story is unfolding. Troughing is developing, which means big storms are going to be hitting California, Oregon, and Washington on Sunday and Monday. These storms will bring heavy rain to the coast and several feet of snow to the Sierra Nevada. Once those storms move over the Rocky Mountains, they will interact with that record-breaking heat in the plains. By Wednesday and Thursday of next week, things are going to get very active. We will likely see a few of those storms make their way further east into the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and eventually the East Coast. Now, let us talk about the specific dangers of these transitions. As we approach the 12-minute and 40-second mark, I want you to prepare for the announcement of the mid-month reset. But first, we must look at the severe weather threat for this weekend. There is a small shortwave trough coming out of the Pacific that will lead to isolated severe storms and heavy rain across the southeast late Friday night and into Saturday. While the severe weather threat is not extremely high, I would not rule out damaging winds of 60 miles per hour and perhaps an isolated tornado risk in parts of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. For our friends in the South, please make sure your weather radios are on. We know that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble, but He also gives us the wisdom to stay informed and out of harm's way. And here it is, at exactly 12 minutes and 40 seconds. The data is now confirming that a massive atmospheric reset, the Big Turn, will occur on January 14, 2026. On this day, the record heat in the plains will be obliterated by a direct discharge of Arctic air from the heart of Siberia. This will create a battle zone where we expect a major ice storm to develop. The area from Oklahoma through Missouri and into Illinois is at the highest risk for significant ice accumulation. Ice is far more dangerous than snow. It weighs down power lines and turns roads into skating rinks. If you live in these areas, you have roughly 10 days to prepare. Check your generators, stock up on non-perishable food, and make sure your families have a plan. Preparation is a form of prayer in action. For our friends who are truckers or essential workers, this mid-month turn is something you need to mark on your calendars. We know that many of you rely on these forecasts to stay safe on the long haul. Last year, in 2025, we reached almost 200 million people with life-saving weather information. We had over 900 million views total across all our platforms. This growth is a blessing, and it has allowed us to expand our team to over 12 different meteorologists, storm chasers, and contractors. I am so grateful to have earned my bachelor's degree in meteorology last May, and I am committed to using that knowledge to serve you with the highest level of accuracy and integrity. Let's go back to the snow event in New York because the numbers are truly staggering. The high-resolution models are showing a small area, about a county wide, just outside of Syracuse, that could pick up a widespread 40 to 50 inches of snow. Most of this is going to fall within a 36-hour time frame. If you go just 10 miles north toward Watertown, you might see almost no snow at all. This sharp divide is a classic feature of lake effect snow, where the band stays locked over one specific neighborhood. Imagine being in Syracuse and seeing 4 feet of snow while your friends just a few miles away are seeing clear skies. It is a reminder of how precise these weather systems can be. By Wednesday of next week, the warmth in the Ohio Valley will be at its peak. The GFS model is showing something that would be truly historic if it verifies. It is showing temperatures in the 50s and 60s all across the Ohio Valley and even into western New York. If this happens, another major concern is the rapid melting of all that lake effect snow. If you have 50 inches of snow on the ground and it suddenly hits 50 degrees with rain, that water has nowhere to go. This could lead to significant flooding in basements and low-lying areas. Please, if you are in the snow zone, make sure your sump pumps are working and your gutters are clear. Stewardship of our homes is a responsibility we must take seriously. After this heat wave happens, we are almost guaranteed an Arctic blast. The atmosphere always seeks balance. If we see this level of record-breaking warmth, we know that a cold correction is coming. I believe we are going to see a very favorable pattern for snow and ice during the second half of January. We haven't seen a whole lot of ice storms yet this winter, but that is likely to change. The transition from 60-degree weather to 20-degree weather is rarely a quiet one. It usually involves a major storm system that brings a messy mix of rain, sleet, and freezing rain. I want to take a moment to speak to those of you in Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Mid-South. I know many of you are feeling left out of the winter weather so far. You've seen the snow to the north and the cold to the west, but you've mostly been stuck in the rain. However, as the jet stream moves into this meridional flow, your chances for a legitimate winter storm are going to increase significantly after the 10th of the month. The key will be the timing of the moisture and the cold air. If they can sync up, we could be looking at a significant snowfall for the Tennessee Valley. We are watching the models every hour, and we will keep you updated. In the Great Plains, the warmth next week will be a double-edged sword. While it saves on heating bills, the dry air and the wind will increase the fire danger. For our farmers and ranchers in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, please be very careful with any outdoor activities that could spark a fire. We pray for rain to soak the parched soil and for the protection of your livestock. We know that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, and we ask for His hand to bring the moisture where it is needed most. As we look toward the West Coast, the series of storms hitting Sunday and Monday will be a major event for California. We are expecting heavy rain in the valleys and massive snow totals in the mountains. This is good news for the long-term water supply, but it brings the immediate risk of mudslides and flash flooding in areas that have recently burned. If you are traveling through the Sierra Nevada, please carry chains and be prepared for mountain pass closures. The mountains are a place of majesty, but they demand our respect during these winter storms. I want to address the concerns of those who feel that weather forecasting has become too dramatic. I want you to know that my goal is never to scare you, but to prepare you. When we see a model showing 50 inches of snow or a 35-degree temperature anomaly, we have a duty to report it. We use the science that God has allowed us to discover to protect the lives and property of our neighbors. It is a heavy responsibility, and it is one that our team of 12 takes very seriously. We don't just look at one model, we look at the ensemble averages, the historical data, and the current observations to give you the most reliable forecast possible. Looking back at 2025, it was a year of incredible milestones for this channel. Beyond the views and the subscribers, it was a year of community. We saw people helping each other in the comments, sharing tips for cold weather, and praying for those in the path of tornadoes. That is the true heart of this channel. We are a family of weather watchers who care about one another. As we move into 2026, I want to continue that tradition. We are planning more live coverage, more educational videos, and more ways for you to get involved in the reporting process. I also want to thank my assistant, Cheese Curd, who has been a constant companion during these long nights of weather tracking. And to my sponsors and channel members, your support allows us to keep the lights on and the radar running. We would not have a team like this if it wasn't for your generosity. You are part of the backbone of this operation, and we thank God for you every day. As we conclude today's deep dive into the January weather pattern, I want to leave you with a message of hope. The weather can be unpredictable and at times frightening, but we do not have to live in fear. We are equipped with information. We are surrounded by a community of believers, and we are under the protection of a loving God. Whether you are facing 50 inches of snow in Syracuse or a 65-degree heat wave in South Dakota, remember that this too shall pass. The seasons change, the storms move on, and the sun eventually rises. For the next 48 hours, your focus should be on the lake-effect snow in New York and the isolated storms in the southeast. After that, we transition into the record heat of early next week. And then, we prepare for the big turn on January 14th. It is going to be a wild ride, but we will be right here with you for every single mile of it. I will be back with another update tomorrow morning as the new data comes in. We will have a closer look at the ice potential and the exact track of the midweek storm systems. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and have your notifications turned on. In an emergency, every second counts, and we want to make sure you get the information as soon as it is available. Share this video with your friends and family, especially those in the Northeast and the Plains. Knowledge is power, and sharing it is an act of love. One last check on the high temperatures for Tuesday. Chicago near 50, Des Moines near 55, and even Springfield, Illinois pushing towards 60. It is going to be a spring-like week in the middle of winter. Enjoy the sunshine while it lasts, but keep your winter gear close at hand. The Arctic is not done with us yet. I want to finish by saying how proud I am of our community. We have grown so much, and yet we have kept that personal touch. I see your comments about the bedhead and the hoodie, and it reminds me that we are all just neighbors talking about the weather. Thank you for accepting me as I am and for trusting me with your safety. It is the greatest honor of my life. So, as the snow begins to pile up in Syracuse and the winds begin to shift in the plains, stay safe, stay warm, and keep your faith. We have a big month ahead of us, and we are going to get through it together. I will see you in the next video. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. This is Max Velocity, signing off for now, but I'll be back before you know it. Happy New Year to you and yours, and let's make 2026 a year of safety and resilience. Remember, the weather is more than just numbers on a screen. It is the environment in which we live out our lives. Let's treat it with respect and treat each other with kindness. Whether it's shoveling a driveway for a neighbor or sending a quick text to check in on a friend, let's make sure that no one in our community has to face these storms alone. I'm currently looking at the latest GFS run that just came in as I was speaking, and it is confirming that the warm air is even more robust than we previously thought. We might even see some 70-degree readings as far north as southern Kansas by next Wednesday. This is just incredible. But look at the tail end of that model run. The blue colors are screaming back south by the 14th. The Arctic is waiting in the wings. I also want to mention the planetary alignment that some of you have brought up. While we focus on the meteorology, it is always interesting to see how the broader universe interacts. We know that everything is connected in God's grand design. Our focus will remain on the pressure systems and the moisture tracks, but we acknowledge the majesty of the heavens. To our viewers in Canada and those along the border, you are going to be on the edge of this heat wave. You'll see some significant warming, but the Arctic air will never be far away. Expect some very messy transitions and a lot of fog as the warm air moves over your snowpack. To the people of Watertown, New York, keep an eye on that snow band. It only takes a 5-mile shift to the north to put you in the bullseye for 40 inches of snow. Don't let your guard down just because the current forecast puts the heaviest snow just to your south. These lake effect bands can be very wiggly. And for those in the high desert of the west, your temperatures will be cooling down as the trough moves in. Enjoy the moisture. It's a blessing for the upcoming growing season. We are now at the end of our 25-minute deep dive. We have covered the snow, the heat, the jet stream, and the big turn. We have talked about safety, stewardship, and the power of community. I hope you feel better informed and more prepared for what is coming. I'll be spending the rest of the day analyzing the new data and preparing for our live stream tonight if those snow squalls become even more intense. If you're in the path of the snow, I might be talking to you again very soon. Until then, take care of yourselves and one another. The weather is a grand stage, and we are all participants in this incredible story of the atmosphere. Keep your eyes on the sky, keep your weather radio close, and keep a prayer on your lips. This is the start of an amazing year of weather reporting. We have so much in store for you, and I can't wait to share it all. Thank you for being the best audience on YouTube. We don't just have viewers, we have a community. God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless the United States of America. We will see you in the morning. Stay safe out there. Goodbye for now. One final reminder. Syracuse, New York, watch for those 50 inches. Everyone else, watch for the record heat on Tuesday. And everyone, mark January 14th on your calendar for the big turn. We are ready, we are prepared, we are one. The reorganization of the atmosphere is underway. Let's make sure we are reorganized and ready to meet it. Good night, and stay warm. As the sun sets today, let's reflect on the beauty of the world, even in its most extreme moments. The snow is white and pure, the sun is warm and life-giving, and even the storm has a purpose. We are lucky to live in such a dynamic world. See you tomorrow. The radar never sleeps, and neither does our commitment to you. Stay vigilant.